Beautiful.
Oh, that looks great, mate.
Bring back more. We've been really fortunate lately because there's been a whole lot more Kahawai around in our local rivers. Now, I'm talking about where we are in Canterbury, but this is nationwide. And if you're on the west coast, or you're down south, or anywhere else in the country, you'll know as I do that Kahawai are back on the increase. And what a great sport fish they are. The thing about them is they readily take all sorts of lures, and I think as we're getting better and better at our fishing, we're learning different ways of catching them. Now, I really enjoy catching them on light gear because when you do that, you exploit their fun potential, and boy have they ever got some fun. So we're going to give you a few tips about how to do it and show you some action so that you can be inspired to come down. Now, we're actually at the mouth of the Waimakariri River, which is just north of Christchurch, but this will be true if you went to the Rakaia or the Ashley or all sorts of rivers up and down the coast and all around this country. So make sure you get out there and catch these fish. They're so much fun to catch.
That's fun. Is he close to me?
I really like using just a basic spin or soft bait outfit. This here is actually quite a good quality one, but I enjoy getting out using little tiny lures. Now I've got a few here just to give you an idea. Tiny little jigs, little tiny ticers, things like that. Now I know a lot of people use quite big gear because they're used to salmon fishing, but you know, catching a Kahawai on a salmon rod, it's just not quite so much fun because you wind the thing in, it's actually a mismatch. But if you're using what I've got here, which is around about 8-pound braid and basically a trout reel and a tiny little jig, see I've got one on the end there, you can have lots of fun. And here's the thing about the jigs, I like using a single hook on the end of them. I don't like trebles, I think you get a better hookup rate. So here's a selection of lures which would be extremely good for attracting these things. Soft baits work really well on Kahawai, and all you need to do is put a jig head in there, cast them out, let them drift down the current, and they'll be all over them. They love seeing them. Great fun, and again, a different way you can catch them.
No,
All you need to do is cast and retrieve, and you can move it quite quickly. They seem to be excited by fast moving lures. Where we are here at the mouth of the Waimakariri River, we've got a current going down, so you cast slightly up current and then wind in reasonably quickly, and the fish will do the rest. I love it with braid, because when you've got braid on there, it's a very direct contact. Great fun. Bring along the kids, let them feel what it is like to be able to wind in a fish. Bring along the people who don't normally fish. It's a great introduction to get people into the joy of fishing and to teach them the skills of playing fish and casting and everything else that we take for granted when we're so-called experts. Kahawai are here for much of the year, but they tend to be in their best numbers from, say, November right through till February, and then they might drop off a bit. We've been really fortunate in the last few years because they've been in bigger numbers and they've stayed around for longer, and that makes it really good to catch fish. Now, at the Waimakariri, it's best to be fishing from high tide down to low and just perhaps the bottom of the tide. Fishing on the incoming tide just doesn't seem to be so good. So pick your right time, otherwise you'll turn up here and nothing will be happening. I also like the times of dawn and dusk. It seems to be an edgy time for general fishing, just because the fish enjoy those changes of light for some reason and they bite more easily. So I want to be out first thing in the morning, that gets me out of bed, and last thing into the evening can be extremely good as well. So if you can, coincide an outgoing tide with the early morning or with the late evening, and you often do very well, just like we've done today. What we've got here is an outgoing tide coming onto dusk, and look at the fun we've had.
I've got one! Oh, here we go!
Now I tend to catch kahawai for sport, so I carry some pliers on here to quickly get the hook out and to release them back again. Please look after them. I've seen some people who abuse them. They kick them up the beach and seem to treat them like a second-rate fish, but these are a marvellous sport fish, so please look after them. If you want to take them to the table, it's important that you bleed them. My advice would be to cut around the gill and let the blood come out that way. Some people do cut around the tail. Well, that lets it go as well. And when you cook them up, make sure you get rid of the red meat, because there's a layer of red meat that's not quite as good as the white. So you want looking for the nice, clear, white, firm flesh, and it's lovely to eat, particularly smoked.
Right now the fish is in full cry. I'm at its mercy. That's because I'm using light gear. So it's lots of fun. If I had great big gear, I'd have it on the bank and it wouldn't be much fun at all for me. So I do enjoy the light gear aspect of it.
Still there?
I just can't get it in, I can't move it. Look at the pressure I'm putting on it. So I'm holding this fish and I'm trying to get around it. I've got 2 men behind me with fish on.
Oh, go Chris.
Now when it comes to fishing with lots of people, and as you'll see in the video, there's a lot of mayhem that takes place, especially when everybody seems to be on fish. Please just give enough space for everyone to have a good time. For some reason, some people can get very, very greedy, there's a fever going, and courtesy goes out the window. So please, 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 give other people space when they're landing fish, particularly when they're on light gear. We want to make sure that they're having a good time too. We're not out here for a contest, we're out here for a good time.
How good was that?
How good was that? Struck it a few times on that cast. Keep the tension on, and when they jump, pull them over if you can. When they jump, they throw their head from side to side and shake the lure loose. So if you can pull them over when they hook, they don't have the ability to shake quite so much, so you land more. Just jump.
As with all fishing, get yourself good gear when you get out there. Make sure your reel is able to take the runs and do things well. Nothing worse than being frustrated. Get a good rod, a rod that'll cast a long way. If you cover more water, you will catch more fish, and it's a lot more fun. Light, good quality gear makes a huge difference to you having fun when you're out there on the water. Oh, you need the drag well, see? Oh, they're great, they just run so well, eh? Oh, here we go. Great practice learning how to play any fish. So kahawai are a very interesting fish. Right now we've got a bit of a lull, so we've had a lot of activity. Fish on the go, really biting well. That's what we would call a bite time. And all it means is that the fish have decided to gather around in the area that we're at. Now the canny fisherman walks up and down in an area following where the fish are. So don't just stand in one spot, put down your deck chair and say, they're going to have to come to me. You've got to be prepared to think like a fish. Another way to catch these fish, of course, is on fly gear. And I've got some moderately specialised gear here. Look at that. Now, if you were a kahawai, wouldn't you want to eat that? That's called a surf candy. And all you need to do is get it out there far enough for the fish to see it. We strip it in, and hopefully they'll grab it. Now, I know this works because I've done it quite a few times. So, what you need, a fly rod of reasonable strength, and this particular one is only a 6 weight just because I'm a bit sporting with this, but an 8 weight or even up to a 10 weight would be quite fine to use. You need a good reel. This one here is actually a salt water type reel, so it's designed to have a very, very good drag when under pressure. And of course you need a line which is going to be appropriate. Now what I do is I like to fish in this area a intermediate line. An intermediate line just sits at the right area, just getting the lure down and swinging across where the kahawai are feeding. Other than that, away we go. Oh, and at the other end, make sure you've got your tippet strong enough. Now, we've got people all around us here, so I'm being a bit naughty. I'm using 20-pound breaking strain tippet, just simply so that I can be a bit more polite when I hook it. You can either strip in like that or net really quickly, whatever's going to be the way to get that action on the end of your lure. You want it to look good. Come on, fish! It's fun on these. puncher. I think I need a heavier rod.
Taking you for a bit of a ride.
Look at that, straight in there. There we go. That's what he wanted. Great fighting fish, lots and lots of fun on a fly. To see what a handful they are on a nice light rod, well worth the entertainment value.